Welcome to the explainer for Module M06. Today, we're unpacking some of the English language's most powerful tools. We are going to master highly advanced grammatical structures. Specifically, we're talking about causative and ergative constructions. It sounds complicated, right? But really, it's just about how these structures subtly control agency. They literally shift the entire focus of your sentences. Let's dive right into it.
Take a look at this high-impact corporate quote. The board had the CEO's contract extended, ensuring that operations started seamlessly the following quarter. What makes this statement so fascinating is the underlying language. We're seeing a passive causative and an ergative verb working together. They immediately shift the focus and manipulate the agency. I mean, the board didn't physically write the contract themselves, right? They simply caused it to happen through their explicit authority. In those operations, they just started all on their own. Let's break down exactly how this powerful syntax works.
Now, advanced causative and ergative verbs are incredibly fascinating tools. Basically, they're structures that manipulate underlying syntactic mechanics. They intentionally shift our focus regarding agency and direct causation. And we absolutely must ground this rule in established linguistic frameworks. Quirk and colleagues' comprehensive grammar of the English language and Swan's practical English usage define this stuff very clearly. Causatives demonstrate someone actually causing a specific action to happen. Meanwhile, ergative verbs shift agency away from a subject entirely. They actually function flexibly as either transitive or intransitive verbs. And the kicker? They achieve this massive shift without even needing a passive form. The action just seems to happen to the subject organically.
Let's look at our first elegantly worked example. This one represents a classic, highly formal academic context. The research committee had the samples analyzed. Now, this passive causative structure creates some necessary academic distancing. It places the grammatical focus entirely on the scientific process. Sure, the committee initiated the action and requested the work, but an independent laboratory actually performed the physical analysis. By using this specific structure, you immediately elevate the formality. It makes your writing sound incredibly objective and professional.
Okay, watch how this dynamic completely changes in a corporate context. This next example perfectly illustrates workplace power structures. The operations director made the regional managers implement. That verb, made, is a truly strong institutional causative. It reflects direct authority and formal responsibility within a company. It is so much stronger and more rigid than have or get. It actually shows direct compulsion and undeniable force. Mastering this exact structure is an absolute game changer. It subtly reinforces organizational hierarchy in your professional communication.
Now, let's shift gears to a sophisticated conversational context. Consider how ergative verbs completely transform this narrative. The negotiations started abruptly, and the previously closed doors finally opened. Did you catch that? Notice how agency is entirely shifted away from any specific actor. We absolutely do not say who started the complex negotiations, and we don't specify exactly who opened those heavy doors. The events simply occurred independently and almost organically. This makes the whole statement sound highly objective and dramatic. It almost feels inevitable, doesn't it?
Right, let's address a very frequent C2 learner error. It basically involves confusing the perfect aspect with a causative structure. Saying she has done the proposal simply describes a completed action. It focuses entirely on her doing the actual physical work. But she had her proposal accepted is an entirely different beast. That is our advanced passive causative structure in full action. The corrected version completely shifts the underlying syntax. It shows she successfully arranged for the acceptance to happen. So never force a standard passive when this elegant structure works.
So, the absolutely crucial point to remember is strict register awareness. The Cambridge English CPE guidelines highly emphasize these exact sociolinguistic constraints. You want to use these sophisticated structures for describing objective processes. They're just incredibly effective for reporting complex financial shifts, and they brilliantly distribute or gracefully mask responsibility in corporate texts. But you must always remember to clearly differentiate your specific register. Get is generally informal, while have remains strictly formal, and make represents direct institutional force and absolute compulsion. However, you must avoid these structures completely in one specific scenario. Do not use them when direct, transparent accountability is legally required.
Well, that brings us to the end of our in-depth explainer. Let's quickly review the core fundamental rule for Module M06. Think of the phrase, "I had my car repaired." Causative and ergative structures strategically shift the grammatical focus. They intentionally move our attention entirely away from the active agent. Instead, they beautifully highlight the complex process or the final result.
Now, please proceed immediately to the Module M6 interactive quiz. Go test your absolute mastery of these advanced grammatical structures today. But before you go, I want you to ask yourself something. The next time you read the daily news, who is using these invisible structures to hide their responsibility?